Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Bill. We are in the Dungeon Crawl Classics RPG book again today. This is, we're going to cover all the classes you could pick from when you reach level 1, or if you're starting a game at level 1 and you skip the 0 level funnel. Let me find out what page it's on. Page 14. Okay. So this is going over the 0 level character. Okay. Alignment. Level advancement. Choosing a class. The first one's Cleric. Your hit points turn to D8. You choose a god. You get weapon training that clerics would use based on the god. You may wear any armor, and you have access to their spell checks. Or your spell checks are not hindered by your armor. Sorry. You get access to magic, and gives you penalties and bonuses for rolling your attack rolls with your spells as a cleric. Not to mention the spells themselves have stuff built into them. There are rules for healing for a cleric. They give you a lay on hands instead of having to cast spells. You can turn unholy to turn away abominations. And then it gives you the gods. Next is a thief. Thieves will get a D6 hit points. They gain proficiency in blackjack, blowgun, crossbow, dagger, dart, garrote, longsword, short sword, sling, and staff. Thieves are careful in their choice of armor as it affects the use of their skills. So at most you'd be wearing like cloth armor or leather armor. Alignment gives you how to play lawful, chaotic, and neutral thieves. You get Thieves' Cant, which is their secret language. You get the Thieves' Skill. If you succeed using the Thieves' Skill, you can do backstabs, sneak silently, hide in shadows, pickpocket, climb sheer surfaces, pick lock. You can find a disabled trap, forge document, disguise self, read languages, handle person, cast a spell from a scroll. You get an action dice and luck and wits. Next is the warrior. Warriors get D12 hit points. They get weapon training in battle axe, club, crossbow, dagger, dart, flail, hand axe, javelin, lance, longbow, longsword, mace, polearm, short bow, short sword, sling, spear, staff, two-handed sword, and warhammer. And warriors wear whatever armor they can afford. You can be any alignment. Attack modifiers. Unlike other classes, warriors do not receive a fixed attack modifier at each level. Instead, they receive a randomized modifier known as a D die. At first level, this is a D3. The warrior rolls this D3 on each attack roll and applies it to both his attack roll and his damage rolls. On one attack, the die may give him a +1 to his attack roll and damage roll. On the next, the die might give him a +3. And the D die advances as the warrior levels, climbing to a D7 by 5th level and higher up to a D10 +4 at 10th level. When the warrior has multiple attacks at higher levels, the same D die applies to all attacks in the same combat round. They get Mighty Deed of Arms. Allows you to do cool strength-based stuff. Critical hits. In combat, warrior is most likely to score a critical hit and tends to get the most destructive effects when he does so. A warrior rolls on the highest crit die and rolls on tables with more devastating effects. In addition, a warrior scores critical hits more often. At 1st level through 4th level, a warrior scores a critical hit on a natural roll of 19 through 20. And threat range increases to natural rolls of 18 through 20 at 5th level and 17 through 20 at 9th level. Initiative. Warriors add his class level to his initiative roll. Luck. At 1st level, warrior's luck modifier applies to attack rolls with one specific kind of weapon. Action dice. Mighty Deeds in action. Wizard. Wizard gets a D4 hit points at each level. A wizard is trained in the use of dagger, longbow, longsword, shortbow, short sword, and staff. Wizards rarely wear armor as it hinders spellcasting. Alignment, you can be any, but that gives you some guidance there. Caster level is a measurement of the wizard's power in channeling a spell's energy. The wizard's caster level is usually his level as a wizard. Then it talks about magic and supernatural patrons. Familiars. More than one wizard has found comfort in the company of a black cat, hissing snake, or a clay homunculus. A wizard may utilize the spell Find Familiar to obtain such a partner. Luck. A wizard's luck modifier applies to rolls for corruption and mercurial magic. Languages. A wizard knows 2 additional languages for every point of intelligence modifier, as described in Appendix L. Action dice. A wizard's first action die can be used for attacks or spell checks, but his second action die can only be used for spell checks. Excuse me. Okay, next is Dwarf. A dwarf gets a D10 hit dice. Weapon training. Dwarves prefer to battle with the weapon and shield. Dwarf is trained in the use of these melee weapons: battle axe, club, dagger, hand axe, longsword, mace, short sword, spear, two-handed sword, and warhammer. A dwarf is also trained in these missile fire weapons: crossbow, javelin, short bow, and sling. Dwarves wear whatever armor they can afford. Talks about alignment for dwarves. Attack modifiers. Dwarves do not receive fixed attack modifier at each level. Instead, they receive a deed die, just like a warrior. At 1st level, this is a D3. Mighty Deed of Arms. Sword and board. Dwarves excel fighting with a shield in one hand and a weapon in the other. When fighting with a shield, a dwarf always gains a shield bash as a second attack. This shield bash uses a D14 to hit instead of a D20. The dwarf adds his deed die to this number, as with all attacks, and can attempt Mighty Deeds of Arms involving the shield as well as his weapon. The shield bash does a D3 damage. Some dwarves customize their shields with spikes or sharp edges to do more damage, while others enchant their shields with unique powers. Dwarves with multiple action dice, levels 5+, still receive only one shield bash each round. They get infravision. Dwarves can see in the dark up to 60 feet. Slow. Dwarves have a base movement speed of 20 as opposed to 30 for humans. Underground skills. long life beneath the ground trains dwarves to detect certain kinds of construction. When underground, dwarves receive a bonus to detect traps, slanting passages, shifting walls, and other new construction equal to their class level. Luck, languages, action die. So a dwarf is like a racial type of fighter instead of being a fighter or a warrior. Elf. Elf, if I remember correctly, is like a combination of a fighter and spellcaster. Elf gains a d6 hit points at each level. Weapon training. Elf are trained in the use of daggers, javelins, lance, longbow, longsword, short bow, short sword, staff, spear, and two-handed sword. Elves often wear armor of mithril, even though it affects their spellcasting. Alignment. Magic. Elves practice arcane magic sustained by traffic with otherworldly creatures more so than human wizards. They form relationships with specific demi beings and can directly request aid from beyond. Caster level is a measurement of an elf's power in channeling spells. An elf's caster level is his level as an elf. For example, a second level elf has a caster level of 2. Supernatural patrons, infravision. Elves can see in the dark up to 60 feet. I don't like that from my gaming history perspective, but other than that, it's pretty cool. Like, I'd give elves low light vision from 3rd edition D&D. See twice as far in dim illumination. Immunities. Elves are immune to magical sleep and paralysis. Vulnerabilities. Elves are extremely sensitive to the touch of iron. Direct contact over prolonged periods causes burning sensation, and exposure at close distance makes them uncomfortable. An elf may not wear iron armor or bear the touch of iron weapons for extended periods. Prolonged contact with iron causes 1 hit point of damage per day of direct contact. That's interesting. Heightened senses. Elves are astute and observant. All elf characters receive +4 bonus to detect secret doors. And if you're within 10 feet of one, you automatically get a check. Luck, languages, action dice. Halflings. And that's the last one. So a halfling, your hit dice is a d6. Halflings prefer to battle with a weapon in each hand. A halfling is trained in the use of club, crossbow, dagger, hand axe, javelin, short bow, short sword, sling, and staff. Halflings usually wear armor. It's much safer, you know. Alignment. Halflings can have any of the alignments. 2-weapon fighting. Halflings are masters at 2-weapon fighting as follows. Normally, 2-weapon fighting depends on the character's agility to be effective. A halfling is always considered to have a minimum agility of 16 when fighting with 2 weapons. This means he rolls a -1 die for his first attack and second based on the dice chain, typically a d16 for his first attack and a d16 for his second. A halfling can fight with 2 equal-sized one-handed weapons, such as 2 hand axes or 2 short swords. Unlike other characters, when fighting with 2 weapons, the halfling scores a crit and automatic hit on any roll of a natural 16. If the halfling has the agility score higher than 16, he instead uses the normal 2-weapon fighting rules for his agility. When fighting with 2 weapons, the halfling fumbles only when both dice come up a 1. Infravision, 30 feet. Small size. Halflings are 2 to 4 feet tall. Weigh no more than 70 pounds. They're slow like dwarves, so their speed's 20 feet. Stealth. Halflings are quite good at sneaking around. They receive a bonus to sneaking silently and hiding in shadows depending on their class level, as shown on table 118. And it can be used in the same manner as the Thieves' ability. Good luck charms. Halflings are notoriously lucky. A halfling gains additional bonus when expanding luck as follows. languages, action dice. That's it. That's the last one. And those are the classes available in Dungeon Crawl Classics. So you would, if you wanted to be a specific race, it's its own class and would have its own restrictions based on that. But other than that, it's still, I like it. It's definitely a different takeaway from, say, D&D and Pathfinder. Well, let me know what you all think in the comments below. Until we all game again, guys.